We're back. This is
Happy
the
VD
best
Day.
this is the best day of February. It's a Valentine's Day, as you could tell. Linda's in red, I'm in hearts. Welcome, welcome. We're happy that you've taken out time to join us. We're very happy and grateful for that. And for newbies that kind of stumbled across us, or if it's your first time listening, you want to know, people are curious, what's BOB, Bob, Beacons of Balance. It's about living in balance. It's about we're trying to bring these topics and themes and discussions, and we extrapolate from professionals out there, their words of wisdom on how to balance this chaotic world that we're in. So we could have our best lives ever. We could be in joy, love, inner peace. Because as I always say, if you have inner peace, guess what? You have it all because you're not worried, you're not thinking about things. So thank you for joining us. And we are on every Wednesday and we have themes for the month. So this month, because it's the month of love, it's about relationships. And this particular episode is going to be about friendships, what friendships mean. 61% of adults in the US say having close friends is essential to having a fulfilling life. And that's more than those who cited marriage, children, or money. So
That's interesting.
friendships are key. And what defines a good friendship is mutual respect, trust, empathy, support, also honesty, and being a good listener, rather
Yeah.
than, and then go on, Linda, with there's other 8 things as far as friendship. The first being non-judgmental.
Non-judgmental. You are an open book, goes beyond words and peeping into the depths of your heart. And I was lucky in my life to have some really good friends and still have. And a good laugh helps too, by the way. Supportive. They pray for your success. Trustworthy. You can rely on them to accept you without conditions. Great listeners, always there for you. And vice versa. This isn't about you. And helping nature, give you mental peace by understanding your needs. A good friend makes you feel lighter and happy.
Also being a good communicator. They'll keep in touch with you. It's very rare that they will hold grudges or let misunderstandings creep into the friendship. And also a good, like you said, a good sense of humor. It helps not to take yourself so seriously, being able to laugh at yourself and with them.
Right.
Encouraging an innate quality and seeing the best for you. And then forgiving, has a forgiving nature and, does not hold grudges. And the last thing I wrote on here, and we're going to go back and talk about all this, is the line is, remember, to have a friend, you need to be a friend. It's like, we're wells of energy. You just can't take and, fill your well. I always say it's like the infinity symbol, the number 8, the infinity.
Right.
Because as you're giving, you're receiving back. It's like a ebb
And
and
you can
flow
pretty
back.
well tell right away. I've had people, mostly but people I've known for years, and you'll notice they're like psychic vampires. They drain you. And being a psychic myself, I've often wondered, were my friends because they want me or because of my gift? You know what I'm saying? So I've always had that problem.
That's an interesting point because I brought that up with somebody in my family that happens to be successful and and I think for that type of person you kind of wonder, like you're saying, are they around you and want you for what you could do for them and bring you or whatever, or are they there because they're truly there for you?
Right. And being that you and I both know very successful people, I can tell it's very hard for them to open up or be around people that they always have to be cautious.
I guess maybe that's human nature too. They think because that they know you and you have this like friendship, which it's a different type of, it's more like acquaintance type of thing. But I know when I had my business in that for 10 years, people would come in and they kind of befriend him. And then I always used to wonder, I wonder if they really want to be friends or if they,
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying? You start to analyze that and you go, oh, I'll tell you. And I think it's easier maybe for females to have more bonding and closeness with females, to have that. And I don't know, well, there is a difference, they say, between the male and female brain, because women, we have to talk, right? They say how many words do women do versus men. Say men could say 5 and we say 1,000. And it's true. One day my husband, he said to me, wow, he wasn't, he goes, I really, it wasn't envy. He said, I really kind of admire, he said, how you have your friends and you could talk to them. He said, then you get off the phone and like 2 hours later, you're talking again and you talk another half. He goes, what the heck?
That's me.
Yeah, but men don't have that, you know? He
I know
does.
some of my closest friends are actually men.
Yeah, I've
I'm more
had,
friends with men than I am with women.
yeah. And that could cause a little tiff in a relationship. I do too. And
Yeah.
my husband, he's good about it. But he has females. He has females too because he's a musician. And let me tell you, when he plays and he has that wonderful personality, and well, they've been groupies, you know, they hang on him, you know, and I'm like, especially in the beginning when we were just going out, I'm like, and it's fine, you know, I think that's good. You know, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
I think it's important for men to have friends. A lot of men do. I'll ask people, "So what does your husband do? You know, what does he do for fun if he's not with you?" Well, doesn't he have any friends, you know? Well, his brother will come over. Okay. Men need to, and you know, there's a lot of women that don't want their man to have.
I was just going to say that. Even though we could have ours, a lot of times they don't want them. And doesn't that happen with family though too? When a woman, don't you, you know, what happens is a lot of times, say the male, yeah, marries a female, that female wants them for their family, and they don't want the guys to
Oh,
be
I've read
bothered.
so many
They don't
mother-in-laws.
want to be
Women,
bothered with.
I've read so many of them, women who are heartbroken because they choose the wife's family over them, but that's kind of how it's always been.
And I see that. I could see it in my own family stuff too. You know, I always come from the heart and I always say I love you. When I'm talking to anybody on the phone, I love you, you know.
Yeah.
When I started going out with my husband, you know, we just started. So we get off the phone and I was gonna, oh, I'll see, you know, we'll talk. Okay. And I had to stop myself because how do you do in the very beginning say I love you? So I remember I said to him, he thought I was nuts. I said, listen, I'm going to say something, but it doesn't mean like I love you. I'm just saying I'm wishing you well, and from my heart to yours, I love you. I want the best, you know, but don't think it's that I'm throwing something at you. So he laughs about that. But a funny thing, I came in the other night, I was walking through the kitchen. He's on the phone. He is on the phone, one of his musician guys, and they kind of talk, right? He got off the phone and I heard him say, love you. And I came in, he gets off the phone and I go, did you just say love you to, you know, and he goes, and he stopped and he goes, oh my, he's so used to it when he's on the
Who
phone
used
with
to saying
me.
it to you?
He just said it. But anyways, friendships are, I take my friendships to heart, and the past, I think, because like everything, everything's changing out there, and we went through the COVID and stuff like that. And I lost a couple, not lost them to death, but I ended a couple of friendships.
You know what? They say that with this last president, that a lot of families got broken up in friendships because it's not medium, it's this or that. I've read so many people that no longer have Thanksgiving with their family or their sons or because of the way, although lately I've been hearing from a lot of my clients saying, you'll never believe it. My son just called and said he's done with the ex-president.
Yeah. But you know what? You know, when we talk about everything energetically, why give that so much power and energy that it causes, you know what I mean? That it causes that to happen. That's not
Yeah,
good.
I have a friend and he was talking to his sister and she saw our show and she was very, you know, and you better tell her she better look out, you know, and it's like, why is it people who are drawn to that energy, to that negative energy, are always threatening violence?
They're in that
Why is that?
cesspool. They're in that cesspool, you know. It's easier for people to be with others that are in a cesspool. You know, you could be, it depends what you want to churn around with, you know.
Right.
Um, but it's true. Going back to, you know, you were talking about being successful and stuff. When people move up the ladder and you become successful, you have less friends.
Oh, wow.
You have less true, like we were talking, you have less true friends that are
That's it.
truly happy for you, even though you may be in whatever situation rising above them. they're happy for you and they still stay with you because the general populace likes to be in the cesspool.
Everybody likes to be in misery.
Yeah.
Misery loves company.
I always say, my friends got me through, of course, going through divorces and, closing a business, all of that stuff. If it wasn't, I didn't need therapy. My friends were my therapists. That we supported, we support each other, we listen. Sometimes you can have little tips in that, but it wouldn't be anything, and I think that's good also. Sometimes you have to say, no, I don't agree with you, or I think, blah, 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 whatever. There was another friendship I had that really, the person started change. I say, we're like crystals. We have all facets, like a crystal have facets. And sometimes people only show a certain side that them as. And then
Right.
all of a sudden it shifts and you see and you go, holy crap. But that could happen in partnership relationship that you're with somebody. Look at people that have been married for so many years and they don't, well, say one of them are gay, they didn't know it. They truly
No,
didn't know it.
that's happened a lot. Or they were raised in the time that they felt like they should be ashamed.
Well, yeah, and that's not a judgment, but they don't know. So they're living a lie. They're living underneath, and you don't know. You truly. So do we truly know in heart? Do we truly know anybody? But
Right.
I think friendships are cultivated, and they're really needed because I feel, if we were supposed to be on this planet, this little blue marble, I call it, by ourselves, then we'd be out on an island floating around by ourselves, right?
Right.
I mean, we're here collectively there's a reason we're here collectively.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you get along enough. But that one friendship that what ended it too, which I think is this ended it too, right here. Oh, that's not
What?
the phone, texting.
Oh,
A lot of times, and I don't know if this has happened to you, things are missed in a text.
oh yes, that's
The
happened.
interpretation, like you'll be saying something and the person takes it a different way.
I would be the one to take it a different way because before cancer and my healing and stuff, I would be very, what do you mean by that kind of energy?
But the texting, you could lose the content and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's important to be aware of it. And like that saying is, if you want a friend, you have to be a friend. You have to cultivate it. It's like anything. You have to grow the garden. You know,
Exactly.
are you there just for that? And I've had, I had like an older friend. She would say to me, "Well, how come you haven't called me? I'll call her." And I'll say, so I said, "Well, you know what? The phone works both ways."
Exactly. What does she say?
Why do I have to be the only one to do, to make the call or whatever? And sometimes that happens. It becomes a codependent thing. But it's interesting I take friendships to heart. So I don't know. And if you observe people that don't have friends, it's kind of like a lonely existence. It's like they're just
But
existing.
there are people that do just fine. I mean, there's some people, I hate to say it, but at my old age now, I enjoy my downtime without having to talk to anyone. I enjoy just being in quiet.
You talk a lot though. I mean, you talk a lot
Yeah.
because of what you do. So that's
That's
a
what I
natural, when I had jobs like, one job I worked as a headhunter. So I was on the phone, you're on the phone all day and you're talking to companies, you're interviewing people. I would come home and I'd be like, don't, I don't want to talk at all. You get on overload, but it's wonderful to have good friendships. I have friendships that I've had for 50, 60 years.
Wow.
So they've seen me through all my dating, relationships, divorce, business, you know what I'm saying? Everything. And it's gonna, and a lot of them, I'm not in touch with like all the time.
Right. But they're cool whenever you contact them.
And now we've gotten older. Sometimes we forget our birth, not that we forget the birthday, but we forget exactly what day or whatever. We used to do birthday card. We've gotten away from that too. But we call and it's like we're there. We're there on a dime. We're there. What do you need? I'm here. Fill me in. And it's like we don't miss a beat.
Right. You start off where you try. Yeah. That's very valuable.
That's a gift. I feel I feel sad for people that don't have I know like you said, people could be alone too, which yeah, I understand that you could be alone. And I understand what you're saying, getting older. I've shifted into a different format and I feel like I'm housebound now in a lot of ways, but I'm enjoying
Right.
it. It's hard, especially it's hard with male-female relationships for a guy to say. I think it's harder for a guy to say they're sorry. And one of mine that was really, it wasn't a good relationship. I finally, what I got around to is, I'm sorry for my part. That
Yeah,
was, so I'm just sharing that with everybody. If you can't get somebody, your partner, whomever, to say they're sorry, just talk to them when you're quieted down and say, it takes two to tango with everything. So there is a part that we each play. So if you acknowledge, I'm sorry, even if you feel it wasn't yours, but if you say, I'm sorry for my part, let them at least acknowledge that they're sorry for their part. Once a person starts doing that, I think then it triggers something and they could acknowledge when they do something that they're more to blame to or whatever,
right,
they'll
right.
acknowledge it. But it's a good thing to show, to cultivate friendships and to show your children what a friendship looks like and everything too, so they have it.
My sister and I, we, she's kind of my touchstone,
That's so great. I see that with
I
you.
have a
Love it.
sister that I get along with.
Yeah, yeah. That's
By
what,
the way, she told me to tell you hi.
oh, tell her I said hi too. She's a sweetie. I love her just like
I-
you.
She's got
And
a great sense of humor and smart as a whip.
yeah, I like her a lot. And but now I'm gonna say this saddens me because I have only one sister.
And you guys don't have that kind of connection. It's not everybody does.
I should say it's gone through different phases in life, when our kids were, her last one was close to my son's age, so we used to do family, go to like amusement parks with them and go away, things like that. We do stuff like that. And I would talk to her. So we were a little bit closer then. But as we've gotten older in that, and you think it would be different, but it's not. And I don't understand it. And I've tried to reach out but it's like she's cutting everybody out too. She's in a sad, sad place. And I just have to, I have to honor that. It's what it is, right?
How about the bumps in the road with friendships? How do you work through it? Just by being honest?
Yeah, honesty's
Identifying how much the relationship means to you and how you'd like to see it
yeah,
feel?
honesty's the best thing.
I had someone who I think was a friend, but I got so angry, back in my day before this. I mean, if you mess with me, I can get vengeful, which is sad to say because what you should do is, like you said, walk away.
Oh, I was on the same page with you, honey. I would be able to slice and dice somebody I always say this is more powerful than nuclear weapons. This
Oh, let me
here,
tell you,
our
I
mouth.
could turn into and probably shock this person like, what? She's really a witch.
Yeah,
But I would just call things out and
yeah.
I could be pretty ugly if you messed with me.
Well, there you go. We have our dark and we have our light. So, once we wake up, you woke up, I woke up. Once you wake up, you don't go, you
It
can't go,
doesn't it doesn't matter anymore.
no. And as you said,
But it
especially,
did matter that I probably hurt this person because I was so angry.
did you,
And
so
so
what happened?
we'd never know. I don't
Is
talk
it,
to this
is
person
a
anymore.
person still in the same area? I mean,
No, this person lives in a different country.
oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I used to, I facilitated a lot of different groups. I've taken a lot of different works. Yeah, I'm certified. I always say I'm certifiable, certified in a lot of different things. I used to hold like a circle with women to let go, to release things. And so, as you know, with healing work too, sometimes you don't have to be with the person like this right on them
Right.
or physically with them. A lot of times, distance healing, the
Yes.
energy is even more intense than when that's just like when you do your prayers, right? Because you're
Right.
not physically with the person who's writing in or what you but you're sending that out and it's more intensified.
Well, I've done the prayers and I used to have dreams about this falling out before it even happened. It was weird. I guess it was meant to be.
But the thing is, for you, because bringing it up to heal it, you could sit in it, either put a chair in front of you and call that person in and start dialoguing. And you could go back to exactly what occurred and what you think was faulted on their part, yours, whatever, and then you come to a place of letting it go and forgiveness and letting it go. That'd be an interest. You should try that just to see what would happen. You never know, out of the blue you may hear from her. And then you could also write a letter, put it in letter form.
Then burn it.
And you could burn it, and it's the energetic thing. And a friend of mine just did that with her son.
Uh-huh.
You know, they have volatile, they go up and down and everything. And she felt very upset by it, and she's getting older. And I said, well, you know, so I explained the same thing to her. So she wrote a letter, and I said, you know, you really, if you don't want to, you don't have to send it. You just energetically. Well, guess what? He contacted her before she did mail the letter. He contacted her before the letter got there. It sounds to people out there, I'm sure it sounds like, woohoo, these two are nuts, but it really does work. And all you could do is try it to see what happens, but it does work. It
Yeah.
works. And that's about manifesting whatever we want. Friendships are important and they're very dear to my heart. And I'm wishing all you guys out there a happy V Day, happy Valentine's Day in your heart. Just love your heart. You know, I had another mentor who, you know, when you're going through, excuse me, when you're going through crazy stuff, you know, be it whatever it is, and you're out of sorts, she would say, just take one hand here and then your other hand here. And it's like basically like the hand of God and you're holding it and you just go steady, steady, steady. You just breathe and just let it be. And it really, it calms you
Ground.
down. It brings you to a place, you know? So it's
Awesome.
very important. I always say, you know, get out of this space, your head space, and drop down into your heart space. You know, when you come from here, and I think I said before, the first message I ever got was love is the key to unlock all the mysteries in life. It's very simple. It's a very simple thing. I think I said before, the things are simple to do, but we make them so complicated. It's
Right.
just like going to somebody that does energy and healing work, because I do it. You know, and I used to do it freely at my shop. I used to have an arch and I'd sit people there. I would just run energy. Let me tell you the stories I had. I had one guy he came in with his wife. You know, men didn't want to come in that type of shop. There was a cafe, so they came in. So his arm was like this. And I said, oh, I said, I know you had something done. You know, I said, I'm offering, it's free. You know, if you would like to sit, you know, just calm down it was all heated up, you know, and I ran the energy in that. Well, then I moved from that location to my big location. It was like, I don't know, maybe a couple months later, right? I was in the midst of moving. So it was an open house and I'm in the corner and this couple comes over and the guy comes over, he goes, hey, you. I go, what? You know, like what? And he takes his arm and he's going like this. He goes, look it. I didn't know who he was. He said, you worked on me. He said, I had rotator cuff surgery and they told me I wasn't going to be able to move and I was going to be limited. And he goes, look at this. He said, and I go, I'm just conduit. If it came through, I'm so happy. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome.
So it does work, yeah. So from our heart, oh, go ahead, Linda, say yours.
Be the change you want. Be the change you want to see.
Yes, and from our hearts to yours, always in total love, joy, peace, inner peace, balance. If you have inner peace, you have it all. Thank you so much for watching, listening. Please subscribe down below, spread the word. Linda's will be out there. We have all our, you're funny. People that are on podcasts can't see what you're doing.
Okay.
You have to watch. But yeah, spread the word. And we're on every Wednesday. So we'll be having another one next Wednesday. And then the last Wednesday of the month, we have a doctor coming on, Dr. Love.
Awesome.
Love
All
you
right, my
guys. Love you,
friend.
honey. See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.